Hello and welcome back to DJ DH Eclectic, and today I'm going to do two posts today. This is the first one, and this one is not as interesting as the second one, but that's the way things go, isn't it? But it is an important news item, and it's about the Labour-run council that has instructed its staff to stop using the words mother and father. Yes, they've said to the staff of the Labour-run council, do not say mother, do not say father. Instead, refer to parents. Now, this guidance is part of a 27-page inclusive language guide compiled by the Equality and Diversity and Inclusion team. Of course it is. This DEI that keeps coming out over and over again is absolutely nonsense. And to say you can't sit and call them a father, and a mother, but you've got to say parent is absolutely ridiculous. That's my opinion anyway. Maybe it's yours too. So the idea is that the Equality and Diversity Inclusion team said it's to encourage the use of gender-neutral and person-centred language. Person-centred. When was mother and father not person-centred? Convoluted thinking, which takes them into a spiral down and down and down into the gutter of misunderstanding and misgenderizing. Yep, certainly does. Now, other tips of this suggested language include avoiding gendered phrases such as man, mankind, and workmanship, and instead saying humans, humankind, and the quality of work or skills. So workmanship now has to be said as quality of work or skills. Again, such, George Orwell in 1984, if you've read the novel, he got it all correct. The only thing he got wrong was it was 1984 rather than 2025. But they use these sort of speeches, which became hard to actually understand. So people are used to saying, "Oh, that's good workmanship." Now have to say, "Oh, that's a good quality of work or skills." Wow. This guide, it's 27 pages, as I said, adds that descriptive words in general, including references to race, gender, sexual orientation, disabilities, and religion or age, are off the table, unless they're relevant and valid. Well, unless they're relevant and valid. Well, they usually are. Sexual orientation is valid when you're talking about restrooms, toilets, changing rooms, showers. Yes. References to disability. Well, yes, if you're in a wheelchair, there may be differences of how you get through a doorway or up a step. And they need to be discussed, they need to be talked about, and they need to be spoken about openly. I was a health and safety consultant to industry, and I would see things like this, and think, you need to lower that step, or put a ramp up there, or make it into a slope, and these are things that are relevant to the working life of people with a disability. Okay, and age, sometimes with age, you're not as strong as you were, you're not as agile as you were, you're not as fit as you were as a 20-year-old, 25, 30, 40. And, it's relevant to discuss it when you're working out manual tasks. But anyhow, in the section relating to age, the guide advises that staff should avoid general terms, as these imply that people of a certain age groups or generation are an homogeneous group. Failing to recognise people's individuality rather than old and young, staff are advised to say mature individual. Oh, you're a mature individual. Or an elderly person, not an old person, an elderly person. Or a young person. Absolute nonsense. All you put on the end of the old is person is you've changed old into elderly person. You've changed young into a young person. They paid a fortune to get this done, by the way. The review of Merton's council, that's the council, this Labour council, is the Merton Council Inclusive Language site, reveals the following guidelines, and I'll go through them quickly. Mother and father, say parents or caregivers. The elderly, say mature individual. Do not say old, say elderly person or people. Young, do not say young person or young adults. Do not say boys and girls of the office. It's men and women of the office. Don't mention boys and girls in the office at all. Call them colleagues in the office. A young and vibrant team. You don't say that. You say effective and vibrant team. A mature workforce. Don't say that. Say an experienced workforce. Now, not necessarily. You may have employed a man who's lost his job, he's entering a new career, he's getting on a bit, and he's not an experienced worker in the new job or the new career. He's a newbie. They make these DEI, they cause problems. Now, a wheelchair bound, confined to a wheelchair, is now a person who uses a wheelchair. Cancer or dementia victims. These are people living with cancer or dementia. They're not victims of cancer. They're people living with cancer or dementia. Autistic child is a child diagnosed with autism. He's not an autistic child, he's diagnosed with autism. Let's have a look. There's some more here. The disabled or handicapped is a person with a disability. Normal, healthy, able-bodied persons, they are people without a disability. Disabled toilets and lifts are accessible toilets and lifts. Well, aren't the ones for people who can walk accessible? Well, maybe not so much to the disabled, but that doesn't make them inaccessible to the rest of us. Sexual preference is now called sexual orientation. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals are now lesbian, gay, bisexual people. You take the S off the end. You're not gays, you are bisexual people. You are gay people, you are lesbian people. Family planning clinic is not a family planning clinic, it's a sexual health clinic. The councillors even suggested banning the phrases man the phones and man-made. So things are not man-made anymore. They are, what are they? Let's see what they call them. They're called artificial. They're not man-made, they're artificial. Because you can't say man. Which is very strange, because earlier they said don't call boys and girls in the office, call them men and women in the office. And now they're saying, let's ban man the phones because it says man. Let's ban man-made because it says man. But you can, earlier on. Was it made by man? Most likely in a factory. So under advice to respect the preferences, this is the sexual gender nonsense, gender neutral people, staff leading workshops have been warned against opening with welcome ladies and gentlemen, with welcome friends and colleagues. They may not have met them, so how are they friends? Well, it doesn't matter because it's not what's true, it's in their thinking, in these DEI experts. It's not what you know, it's the thinking process. And friends and colleagues sounds much better than ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now Lord Acton, you may know him, Lord Young of Acton. He's the founder and general secretary of the Free Speech Union. Well, and he said, I'm amazed that Merton Council have time for this nonsense. Well, so am I. I can only assume that fly tipping and potholes aren't a problem in Merton. Now, that was a knock on Merton Council because, let me explain, the council have previously come under fire from the Telegraph. I use the Telegraph quite a lot. And it revealed it was the local authority with the highest percentage of minor roads in need of maintenance throughout England and Wales. So they have the highest of anywhere in England and Wales. And they have the most potholes in the country. But they're spending the money not on doing that, not getting the workforce dealing with that, but on, don't say man the phones, don't say man-made. It's attend the phones, and it's artificially made. Artificially made? I'm going into the factory. I'm going to make a part for this car. I'm going to artificially make it. It's nonsense. So the council has previously come under fire, as told by, and the Telegraph revealed it. They're the most worst roads in the country of England and Wales. And according to an analysis by the Department of Transport, nearly 40% of the borough's roads had potholes and were in need of major repairs. But don't worry about the potholes wrecking your cars and causing accidents. No. Let's worry about you saying boys and girls. Let's worry about you saying that's an able-bodied person instead of a person without disability. Now, the data that was revealed by the Department of Transport has said that showed the council had only fixed a mere 6.4% of the roads that need repair. Nonsense. And this Merton, I've picked on Merton because it's the worst one, but so many councils are going bankrupt. So many councils have done this DEI departments. They pay people $100,000 a year to run these DEI. Then they have their staff to do it. Then they have all the paperwork. Then they have all the computers and the electricity and the lights in the offices and that. The cost is astronomical at a time when councils are complaining they don't have enough money to repair roads. When's it going to end? Well, it's not going to end, folks. It's not going to end. I'm going to say it. It's not going to end, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's not going to. It's not going to end because no one, when I say no one, very few of you out there are willing to put your head above the parapet and say, enough is enough. Okay, your comments, always welcome. Please make your comments. Press the like button and press that subscribe button. If you subscribe, you come straight to me when you want to, and I really need your subscriptions. Doesn't cost you a penny, doesn't cost you a cent, doesn't even cost you a rupee. It's totally free, so don't worry about it. Press that subscribe button and make sure your comments are heard. We need your comments so that the people in charge understand how the public feel. Until the next time, which will be later on today, not long. It's 9:30 this morning on Wednesday morning, 9:30. It's 9:33 to be exact. But I'll be back at about 11 o'clock. Okay. Until then, be safe, be good, and don't forget, press that subscribe button. See you now. Bye.